All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er Cardinal Week 11 preview as we talk about some of the thoughts that we have going into this one. The Niners and the Cardinals in the desert. 49ers trying to bounce back from a rough loss last week to the Rams, and of course the Cardinals are trying to bounce back from an equally ugly loss against the Seahawks. So something's got to give, and let's get into this game. Now, the Niners made some announcements on Saturday of some roster moves. They elevated Clelin Ferrell from the practice squad again, so Clelin Ferrell is going to be up. Eli Apple has been activated from the practice squad as well. That tells us that Demo Lenore most likely is not going to go. Lenore came up with a calf injury late in the week. And unfortunately is most likely going to wind up missing this game, it sounds like, and Eli Apple is going to be up. And the Niners also waived Adrian Martinez, though I do know they like Martinez quite a bit, and I would imagine at some point Martinez is probably back. You're not going to have a Martinez on the active roster. And now that you've got Purdy back, you only have two, just about roster spots more than anything. But they really like Adrian Martinez, and I do think he will be back, very shortly, would be my guess. But let's talk a little bit about this matchup. When these two teams faced each other back in week 3, it was Mac Jones going up against Kyler Murray, and the Niners escaped with a 16-15 victory. And this time it's Brock Purdy making his first start since week 4, going up against Jacoby Brissett, who's going to be making his 5th start since replacing the injured Kyler Murray. So Niners are 6-4, Cardinals are 3-6, but they're very comparable football teams. The Niners are 2.5-point favorites. They'll kick this thing off at 1:05 on Fox, and of course on KMBR will be, I think, Justin Allegri sitting in for Greg Papa with Tim Ryan. Niners lead the all-time series, 37 wins for the Niners, 31 for the Cardinals. As I said, last week was a rough one for both teams. 42-26, Niners got their doors beat down by the Rams, and the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 44-22. So what's this game? What sets this game apart? Well, first of all, Arizona is going to be without both Marvin Harrison and Zay Jones. So that's huge. That's 26.3% of their targets out for this game. So that's a huge break for the 49ers. Harrison's got an appendicitis. Jones tore his Achilles. Arizona's offense already has had its struggles. They ranked 20th in points scored, 21st in yards gained. So it's not a great offense. And then you take out their 2 top receivers. So that's what they're dealing with. Now their offense has had a bit of a resurgence under Jacoby Brissett. Under Kyler Murray, Arizona averaged 20.6 points a game. They're averaging 24.8 under Brissett. So they've been better with Brissett. The key to this game for the 49ers on defense is stopping Trey McBride. Very simple. McBride exploded last week for 127 yards. And then without Fred Warner, the Niners have been really susceptible against tight ends in recent seasons. Anytime Warner's not on the field, they've given up the 3rd most touchdowns to the tight end position of any team in football, 6 touchdowns. And now they get McBride, who's going to be the major focal point of the offense. And McBride's been better with Jacoby Brissett. He's been averaging 8 catches and 82 yards and 1.2 touchdowns per game in the past month. So expect McBride to be the focal point of the attack. They may target him 20 times. He's got 4 games this season with at least 10 targets. I guarantee you he'll have 10 targets in this game. And he's been really good. He leads Arizona, 61 catches, 602 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. He ranks first among NFL tight ends in catches, 2nd in yards received, 2nd in touchdown catches. He has at least 1 touchdown catch in each of the last 4 games. The Niners are really banged up at linebacker with D. Winters and Tatum Bethune coming into this game. Neither is at 100%. And to me, this is where the game is going to be won for the 49ers on defense. Can they stop Trey McBride? Just really as simple as that. Can they stop Trey McBride? Cardinals are 20th in points per game offense. They're 21st in total offense, as we said. 18th rushing offense, 21st passing offense. So to me, it's really a lot about McBride. Can you stop McBride? And you got to tilt the coverage towards him and just hopefully you can take him away. The Cardinals' offense thrives between the 20s. Their offense averages 6.5 plays per drive. That's the fourth highest average in the league. So, and over the last 4 weeks with Brissett in there, the Cardinals are averaging 7 plays per drive in the 41 drives that Brissett has been the starting quarterback. So the Niners defense, this is a problem because the Niners defense has struggled to get off the field. They've allowed 6.3 plays per drive, tied with 6 other teams for 7th most. But if you look recently, over the last few weeks, the 49ers defense has allowed scoring drives of 16 plays, 10, 11, 12, 10, 10, 10, and 12. And that's just over the last 3 weeks. And of course, the Niners are 1-2 in those games. So can the 49ers get off the field on third down? The interesting thing about Arizona with their long drives, they've struggled to get it in the end zone. They're fourth in average plays per drive, but they rank 17th in scoring percentage. So they score points on just 39.6% of their drives, which ranks 20th in the NFL in points per drive at 2.11. So, it's that to me is going to be an interesting thing in the red zone. What can the Niners defense do in the red zone? Now, Demo Lenore, as I said, has got the calf injury. Came up Thursday during practice. They're going to get the MRI, but the fact that Eli Apple is up makes me think that, that Darrell Luter's going to wind up having to step in for Lenore and Apple's going to step in for Luter. So, Luter's got talent, but he's not Lenore. But heck, if the 49ers can't stop Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch and Trey McBride, then they probably don't deserve to win anyway. I mean, they're lucking out at wide receiver. And if they can't stop their backup wide receivers, that won't be a good thing. The big issue for the 49ers on defense is that since Nick Bosa tore the ACL, the Niners have been bottom of the league in several measurables pertaining to rushing the quarterback. I mean, they are tied for the fewest amount of sacks. They've got 12. They've got the lowest number of pressures with 51. Their pressure rate's 13.7%. It's dead last. So Huff is good. He's tied for 10th among all edge rushers in pass rush win rate at 18.3%. Sam O has had a very good year, 12% pass rush win rate. So that's been good. Those two guys have been good. That's not the problem. It's everybody else. Everybody else is the problem. And really the main problem is that they don't get any interior rush, especially not with Mikel out. Now, Jordan Elliott's gotten better in this area, but no 49er defensive tackle has a win rate in double figures. You know what's been a really painful injury for the Niners is the Yatir Gross-Matos injury because he was balling. He was dominating as an inside rusher. His win rate when rushing from the interior this year, 23.4%, best in the NFL. So, we talk about big injuries. That's actually kind of quietly been a very big injury. So that's something to look for in this game. Now, the Cardinals are more beat up than the Niners. Cardinals had 8 players, including 6 starters, not practicing this week because of injuries. So Kyler's going to miss his 5th straight game. He's out with the foot. He's got at least 2 more games. He's on IR. Zay Jones has got the Achilles tendon. He was placed on IR this week. He's done for the year. They're starting inside linebacker Mac Wilson, who's their best run defender. He's got a rib injury. He's already been declared out. Baron Browning's got a concussion. He's out. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, the safety, who's a really good young player, he's out. Jonah Williams, the right tackle, has got a shoulder injury. I believe he's going to go. Will Johnson with the back and the hip injury, he's out. So, I mean, the 49ers are getting a super banged-up Cardinal team, and I think the Niners should be able to take care of business here. But it's going to be, can they pressure Brissett, and can they run the ball? Can they keep the pressure off of Brock Purdy? Niners are only averaging 22 points per game this year, which is 23rd in the NFL. It's the fewest points through 10 games in the Shanahan era outside of that first year. 17.4 in 2017. That was the first year under Shanahan, but they weren't very good that year. This year, they're averaging 22 a game, and they'd like that to go up, which is, I think, a big reason why Purdy and Pearsall are back in the lineup, and we're going to see more of a downfield passing attack. I want to see more Brian Robinson. The Cardinals are allowing 5.5 yards per carry to outside zone runs, which is 4th most in football. And the Niners, that's what the Niners do, right? And Robinson's been a more effective rusher over the last couple of weeks than Christian McCaffrey. In fact, McCaffrey's got 2 games over 4 yards a carry. Robinson, I think, has got 6. So, I mean, Robinson's averaged 7.2 a carry over the last 2 weeks. I think it's time to see a little bit more of Robinson. As far as a betting nugget on this thing, the Cardinals are 11-4 against the spread as underdogs since the start of last season. 9-2 against the spread in the past 11. So they're really good against the number, as an underdog. And they're underdogs at home in the division, and the only thing is the Cardinals, look like they're dead. And are they going to stay dead, or are they going to spring to life in this division game? Purdy's really good, by the way, against the Cardinals. He's got a 120.4 passer rating and 4 starts against them, highest for any player with at least 3 starts against the Cardinals. So he's been great. He really has been. The key guy for Arizona in this game could be Michael Wilson. No Marvin Harrison Jr. Michael Wilson, the third-year receiver out of Stanford, will be the number 1 option at receiver, and he's been good in his career. He's got more than 500 yards receiving in each of the first 2 seasons in the league. 231 yards receiving and a touchdown this year. He's got big speed. He's got good size. He's kind of a big-time playmaker. So that's an underrated guy. Watch out for him. And probably the biggest key in this game is, can the 49ers block Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell? Arizona's defensive line, they'll get to the quarterback. Sweat's got 8 sacks. Campbell's got 5. So can they get to Brock Purdy? If they can, it could be a rough day for the Niners. So how well does the Niner O-line protect Purdy against Sweat and Campbell and maybe Walter Nolan if Nolan goes? As far as the notes in the series, Niners have won 5 of the past 7 games overall between these teams. Cardinals are 7-4 against the Niners in the past 11 down there at State Farm Stadium. Niners have not lost back-to-back all season. Every time they've lost 3 times this year, and then they've come back the next week and won. So we'll see if they can bounce back from their 4th loss of the year last week against the Rams. Can the Niners run the ball and get that 20-yard run? Niners have not had a 20-yard run in the first 10 games of the season. So the first time since 1986. I mean, that's pretty amazing. 290 consecutive carries without a run of 20 yards or more. Is CMC losing a step? Possibly. Is he losing that big playability? Possibly. If eventually all these guys wear out, that's just the way it is. They all wear out. So, it's like, has a guy lost a step? Well, if you ask the question enough times, eventually you'll be right. I mean, it's just as simple as that. 49ers, by the way, average 94.8 yards rushing per game. It's the worst number the team's had through 10 games since 2007, when they averaged 84.3 rushing yards per game. Turnover margins also big. Niners are -8 in turnover margin, second worst in the NFL. I mean, that's a big one right there. And, they're going to have to somehow make better on that in the second half. And the 49ers only get 1.2 sacks per game because they don't get a lot of pressure. Is Jacoby Brissett going to throw the Niners an interception? It doesn't sound like it. Brissett's thrown 144 straight passes without a pick. It's the 4th longest streak in the history of the franchise. And the Niners have 1 pick all year. As far as Arizona getting a pick, Brock Purdy will throw more picks. I mean, he will, and he'll take a few more sacks. He's a big play guy. He'll take more chances down the field. One guy to try to stay away from is Denzel Burke. The rookie corner out of Ohio State's got an interception in each of the past 2 games. By the way, Calais Campbell, take a good look at Calais Campbell when he's out there, because Calais Campbell is an absolute once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. This guy's played in 270 NFL games. That's the 3rd most by any defensive lineman in the history of the league, behind Jim Marshall and the Hall of Famer Bruce Smith. What's the biggest negative play you can think of in this game? Josh Sweat getting a strip sack, and that's what he's good at. He's got 3 strip sacks this year, tied with Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions for the most sacks that force a fumble in the entire league. So that's his move. Don't let Sweat get around the corner and get that strip sack. So there you go. you got a pretty good idea of this matchup. I'm not sure what we're going to see. I really am not. On one hand, I feel like the Niners have all the momentum. They're the better team. They're playing better. The Cardinals are more beat up. The Cardinals look really dead to me. But, man, the Cardinals always play the Niners tough. And Brock Purdy easily could have a little rust. And I didn't think his arm strength looked that great. And I didn't think his mobility looked that great. And so what happens when the Niners have the ball? You know, does Purdy make these great plays down the field to Ricky Pearsall and the Niners score 30-plus points? And, wow, look at this Niner offense. It's back humming, and here's Brock, and everything's hunky-dory. Or does Brock struggle with arm strength, struggle with mobility? Does the Niner offensive line struggle with this Cardinal defensive line? And it's a very challenging day. I think it could be a very challenging day for the 49er offense. Now, the 49er defense, man, if you can't stop Jacoby Brissett and this Cardinal team that doesn't have a great running back, could be Michael Carter, could be Dermercado. Neither is great. They've got one really good weapon, a really good tight end. If you can't stop this Cardinal team with one really good weapon, man, that doesn't speak well for your chances the rest of the way. So this is a big game for the 49ers. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but I'll say Niners get the win. But I think it's going to be very close. Just like the first one, I would not be surprised if it was another 1-point game. Give me the Niners 21-20 in kind of a lower scoring game. I think a lot of people think, well, Purdy's here. It's going to be more of a shootout. I don't think so. I think it's going to look a little different. He's going to take some more shots. There'll be more positive plays. There'll be more negative plays. And I think the net result will be the Niners will win because that's what they do typically under Brock Purdy. But I don't think it's going to be overwhelming. I like Niners 21-20 over the Cardinals. All right, we should tell you 49er football season all season long is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. And join us on December 7th in Corte Madera. I'll be there all day during the bye week, watching football, eating barbecue, hanging out, and hopefully talking ball with some of the Krug Show most ardent fans. So stop by. It's a meet and greet, open house, very casual. Stop by, get some barbecue, watch some ball, have a beer, maybe have a soda, talk some ball, and get a chance to enjoy. You can also do some Christmas shopping. They also have Christmas shopping there at Corte Madera Mall. And we'll be there week 14. So December 7th, right there in the Christmas shopping season. So we'll see you over there in Corte Madera at Pig and a Pickle. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.